Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Dustin Yoder. I'm the CEO of Surify. I'm physically inactive. I'm a night owl. I'm a frequent flyer. And unfortunately, I'm a distracted driver. But I'm here in Munich on a business trip.
And I'm Dimitri, I'm president at Sentience. I am a night owl, I'm an Uber parent, I'm a restaurant lover, also a distracted driver, and I'm also on a business trip here in Munich today. And indeed, Dustin and I, we met at DI in Amsterdam earlier this year, and when we saw each other's technology, we immediately decided we needed to integrate our platforms. So at Sentience, we showed in Amsterdam how we use machine learning to translate the movement of somebody's mobile device into an understanding of how they behave and why they behave the way they do. And today is really going to be about showing how, through integrating both of our platforms, we give life insurers the access to the data, but also the ability to act upon that data.
Yeah, and as Dimitri said, we were actually here, we met. We were here with Hannover Re, one of our partners, showing how the Surify platform can underwrite and go direct to consumers or have an omni-channel experience. But it's a great time to see, or that was great, but the problem that we've identified actually together is that the life insurer wants more data on their customer, and they want to engage through the lifetime of this long-standing client and drive lifetime value. So let's dive right in and take a look at what we have here today. So what you see here is you just see a projection of my mobile phone here on the left-hand side, and you actually see an example of a mobile application, Android, iOS, and web, that would be part of Surify's platform. You have a dashboard, you have your profile, you have your policies, you can actually sell through this place, you have device connection and payments. So that's one side of the coin here, and this would be in the pocket of the consumer. And then on the other side, you have what we call our insurer engagement panel. So here is where the insurer grabs all the data from their customer, can choose how and when to engage with them, and then ultimately drive value.
Okay, so let's dive into the policyholders, and why don't we dive into you, Dustin?
All right, wonderful. That's fitting for this demo today. So we'll do that. All right, you know, the firewall of death. So let's see if we get there. So jumping in, I apologize.
Okay, so we're looking up Dustin now. Typing in his name, and then there he is. And so while Dustin pulls this up, you will see it pulls up immediately the profile of Dustin. So his general profile, information about the quote, his application, the policy, also his health. And then Dustin's got connected a lot of different devices. He loves his devices. He connected it to the system, so you can see the steps he's taken, his body composition. He clearly has some weight issues.
Thank you.
His sleeping patterns, his heart rate, so all the usual biometrics. You can get. You can also look at other things, like, for example, points and rewards, engagement, even down to the individual emails or notifications he has received. And other things as well, such as his social network. He hooked up Facebook, and then all the way here at the end, you see the behavioral, the real-world behavior of Dustin that comes from the Sentience platform. So here we get a picture of who Dustin is just by looking at the movement and the location of his phone. So he lives in a city in San Jose. He's a very social guy. Anybody who's met Dustin will agree with that. He's also a night owl, so goes to bed pretty late. He's a restaurant lover and a frequent flyer. Two of usually go together. He's got limited physical activity, which probably explains some of your weight issues. And then he's a distracted driver as well, so he uses his phone a lot while he is driving. So that's who Dustin is. And we get to these segments by literally recreating the timeline for every day in Dustin's life. So let's go to a random day, the 30th of October. Well, here at the top, you see Dustin got in his car at 10 to 9. He drove for 5 minutes to get to work. He should probably walk or take a bike.
Again,
because it's a very short commute. He spent a couple of hours at work, started walking, went home, probably for lunch, went to an infrequent visit location, and then walked to work again. He got there at 1:28 at work. And then if you scroll down Dustin a little bit, at 6 o'clock, he got in his car, went to an infrequent visit location, and then he got home at 11 o'clock at night. So he is a night owl after all. Okay, so that's a day in the life of Dustin, if you like. We also integrated our rider scores, our driver scores, so you can see how he drives. So his overall driver score, how smoothly he drives, how much he speeds, and then how focused he actually is. So that is a ton of data that is available to life insurers. Now, what can they do with it?
Yeah, so what we've done is we've now looked at a micro level, which could be all your population. Or so we've looked at myself actually on the micro level. But we're going to pull back up to what we have behavior data. So in the Surify platform, we're looking at all forms of different types of behavior data. So in this case, you have IoT data at the top, which I'm not going to dive into. You have like social network data, which would be feeding in on life events, et cetera. But here we've put in the sentience in our insights section. So the contextual insights of that customer. So down on the left-hand side, I'm just pulling out all these different segments that we've put to easily see. There's a lot of options here. So we actually look different by profile. And so you have behavior here, so you can see my night owl. But we're going to focus on mobility for a use case. And so here, I'm a frequent flyer. And so we're going to actually we're going to search that, and you're going to see that we show up here, so we're just a small group. And we're going to create a tag for that. So we're going to bundle this group, which will ebb and flow based on someone becoming a frequent flyer. So I'm going to call it frequent flyer, Munich, just for this, travel. And so I'm going to create that tag.
Okay, so that has established the group of frequent flyers. So let's engage with them. And let's not only engage with the frequent flyers, let's engage with the frequent flyers who are currently on a business trip in Munich. So let's engage with ourselves.
That's great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a campaign. And so in this full stack system, we're taking data, creating groups, and then engaging. So I'm going to call this the frequent flyer, Munich. You got to forgive my spelling. It's always hard when someone's watching. So I go here. And so, okay, frequent flyer, and then Munich. Okay, so.
Okay.
So what you see here is it finds that audience. And so
fitting,
because we're on stage, we thought it'd be good to then show that this audience is now boiled down to us based on our location, et cetera. Now, imagine we're doing this manually. It's all going to be automated, so we got to keep that in mind. So I'm creating this campaign. I'm actually going to do an SMS because there's different ways to engage, and we want to do a low friction way in this case. So we're actually going to push an SMS message. Now, assume this is all going to be automated. Next. I'm going to do it immediately. You can do it by date, and you can also do it by logic. So it's all going to happen to your millions of customers in real time. And I'm going to push it. So I'm actually going to slide over here to make sure we're here. Push it, because now you have the consumer side, right? So I got to give you that experience. And boom. Hi, Dustin. Welcome to Munich. Okay. So in this case, right, we're dropping someone in, giving them, what we've done here is welcome to Munich in hopes of keeping you healthy on your trip. We're going to include a great list of healthy restaurants here. So, a little Foursquare plug there.
So that's a great example of how we engage with somebody in the moment, based on what they're doing in the moment. Let's take another example where we're doing it based on a live event, right? So we've identified, for example, new parents, because all of a sudden they start to go to Babies R Us, they start to sleep a lot less and get a very irregular lifestyle. What do we do with them?
Yeah, and there's also other ways to obviously find this data, but what we've done is instead of creating that campaign, we've created in the back on those interactions. And so I'm going to push now the new parent. Now, what the use case here is we're trying to identify like products that a new parent would want. So it's a little more, let's say, it's a little more specific than something like a restaurant location or some place they should eat. And so here you should see, okay, well, have you been thinking about life insurance? Oh, who would have thought, right? A life event. This makes perfect sense. And so as I swipe here, boom, push them right to the product section, right? A place where they could access it by, you name it. And in this case, maybe the product's a little more complicated. So we want to bring it back to the agent. So they could say, like, I'm interested. Okay, well, great. That will feed right back to your agent and they could access it, or it could be a one-click buy.
Okay, so in the last example, very quickly, so we know you're a distracted driver. Let's imagine you improve your behavior, become a lot more focused. So how do we reward you for that?
Okay, well, here we go. So I'm going to go right here to a frequent, here we go. The improved driving score. You feel like you're beating up on me here today with the whole weight thing and the distracted driver, but that's all right. So here we go. I'm going to push it. I'm trying to get them side by side. Boom. Congrats, Dustin. You've improved your driving score. We want to thank you. So now a way to engage, not sell them a product, but give them a way. Maybe it's a gift card. Maybe it's a reduction in premium. Maybe it's something very easily accessible, rebrand you, not just be charging them bills, et cetera.
So that's really how we make this data accessible to life insurers, and they can use it to not only see behavior, but hopefully change behavior as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.